Go get Zach. He's taking dinner now. He's ready to play a drum. What do you say?
He said okay.
Is that really? That was easy. Hey, Mr. Nard.
Oh, sorry.
All ready for class?
Huh?
Are you all ready for class?
I wish I was. I got to chant 13 rounds today. I'm just way behind schedule.
All right, chant. Get going. How about turn on this?
Okay.
I invented a new tune for the Hare Krishna.
Oh, you did?
Just now, on my way over.
I'm always walking around up here.
Always working around?
Yeah, I'm walking around and chanting, and sometimes I come up with some great tunes.
No, you should carry a little record. Carry a little record. How about this one?
Make room for the next one.
Hare. This is still off.
I don't know.
Oh, is it this? It's very low. It's doing something, but push them all up and see what happens. One of them got to be it. That's getting better. Try a little more of that. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Push the cord into the mic.
It's working. It just doesn't have it high enough. I think it's okay. There's only going to be a few of us. Jaya Radha Madhava. Okay, now I can't forget the tune. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Hari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vajjana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Hari. Jai Mr. Paramahansa Parudikacharya Ashtotar Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parudikacharya Ashtotar Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Are you going to actually sit down? Yeah. And stay? You have a lot of coming and going in the kirtans and the classes.
I have to clean by myself.
Okay. At least stay for something. All right, let's just make sure we're in the right same page. Are we in text 31? I think we're on text 31. Chapter 6. Yeah, chapter 6, text 31, page 283. Sounds right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 On this 10th day of July 2017 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are in chapter 6 entitled Dhyana Yoga, text 31, page 283. Sarvabhutastitam yomam
Sarvabhutastitam yomam
bhajatyekattvamastitaha
Bhajatyekattvamastita
sarvata vartamanopi
Sarvata Vartamanopi
sayogi mahivartate
Sayogi Mahivartate
sarvabhutastitam yomam
Sarvabhutastikam yomam
bhajatyekattvamastitaha
Bhajatyekattvamastita
sarvata vartamanopi
Sarvata Vartamanopi
sayogi mahivartate
Sayogi Mahivartate
sarvabhutastitam yomam
Sarvabhutastikam yomam
bhajatyekattvamastitaha
Bhajatyekattvamastita
sarvata vartamanopi
Sarvata Vartamanopi
sayogi mahivartate.
Sayogi Mahivartate.
Okay, can you give him your book? So you have it all. And quickly turn to page 283 and chant the verse. Not so quick. Okay.
Sarvabhutastitam yomam
Sarvabhutastitam yomam
Bhajatyekattvamastita
bhajatyekattvamastitaha
Sarvata Vartamanopi
sarvata vartamanopi
Sayogi Mahivartate
sayogi mahivartate. Marcy.
Sarvabhutastitam yomam
Sarvabhutastitam yomam bhajatyekattvamastitaha sarvata vartamanopi sayogi mahivartate. Okay. Sarvabhutastitam, situated in everyone's heart. Yaha, he who, mam, me, bhajati, serves in devotional service, ekatvam, in oneness, astitaha, situated, sarvata, in all respects, vartamanaha, being situated, api, in spite of, saha, he, yogi, the transcendentalist, mahi, in me, vartate, remains. Translation. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. Purport. A yogi who is practicing meditation on the Supersoul sees within himself the plenary portion of Krishna as Vishnu, with 4 hands holding conch shell, wheel, club, and lotus flower. The yogi should know that Vishnu is non-different or not different from Krishna. Krishna in this form of Supersoul is situated in everyone's heart. Furthermore, there is no difference between the innumerable Supersouls present in the innumerable hearts of living entities. Nor is there a difference between a Krishna-conscious person always engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna and a perfect yogi engaged in meditation on the Supersoul. The yogi in Krishna consciousness, even though he may be engaged in various activities while in material existence, remains always situated in Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-197 of Srila Rupa Goswami. Nikalashvapyavastasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. A devotee of the Lord, always acting in Krishna consciousness, is automatically liberated. In the Narada Pancharatra, this is confirmed in this way. Dikkaladyanabachinne krishne cheto vidhayacha tanmayo bhavati chiprang jivo brahmani yojiyet. By concentrating one's attention on the transcendental form of Krishna, who is all-pervading and beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna and then attains the happy state of transcendental association with him. Krishna consciousness is the highest stage of trance in yoga practice. This very understanding that Krishna is present as Paramatma in everyone's heart makes the yogi faultless. The Vedas, the Gopaltapani Upanishad 121, confirm this inconceivable potency of the Lord as follows. Ekopi san bahodayo vibhati. Although the Lord is one, he is present in innumerable hearts as many. Similarly, in the Smriti Shastra it is said, Eka eva paro Vishnu sava vyapi nasangshayaha. Aishwaryad rupam ekang cha suryavat bahudheyate. Vishnu is one, and yet he is certainly all-pervading. By his inconceivable potency, in spite of his one form, he is present everywhere, as the sun appears in many places at once. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance to him and all members of Sri Parampara. So this verse follows in the theme of the previous verse, where Krishna says famously, "For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me." This is one of the numerous verses in the Bhagavad Gita describing how one's vision changes when you become Krishna conscious, transcendental, advanced in yoga, however you want to put it. And it's firmly rooted in the personalist understanding of the absolute truth. Because Krishna, in the previous verse, in 29, he talked about seeing him everywhere. And the way in which the yogi is seeing, he's seeing that super soul within the heart. And knowing, this, as this purport reiterates again and again, that the same super soul is in everyone's heart. And in fact, this is the great bond between all the living beings, is that we have the same source of consciousness, we have the same Father, and in many ways we're equal. We're totally equal as spirit souls. We may be in different bodies, of different statures, different intelligence, different strength, unlimited variety. But we share that identity as a spiritual being, as pure consciousness, and we share that relationship with the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Personality of God. And in fact, this is what makes Krishna consciousness so ecumenical, is that from day one, you learn you're not the body, your identity is not the body. You shouldn't identify with all of the, what we call the parties or designations that define the body, the age, the color, the gender, all of these different things, are superfluous, ultimately. They're just, that happens to be the costume you're wearing in this birth. You know? So do we define ourselves according to the costume we happen to be wearing for a few years? Or do we try to find out who we really are eternally and basically and fundamentally and relate to each other on that basis? And here Krishna is saying, one who sees me within everyone and worships me in that way He's a real yogi. He remains always in me in all circumstances. And that's really the only process for breaking down all of these differences that define the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga means the age of quarrel. On what basis? On the basis of these superficial differences. Where I was born, socioeconomic condition, language, all of these myriad things that go into making our glorious bodies, physical bodies, which are in us. So Krishna consciousness, by training one and giving one the opportunity to really become absorbed in Krishna through the chanting of the holy name, that's the main process of yoga, but really all the processes, the deity worship, to become absorbed in seeing the deity, serving the deity, contemplating, offering prayers, and chanting before the deity. Vast mass of devotees don't really get to go on the altar, but that doesn't mean that we don't do deity worship. Being here for the deity, greeting the deity, being happy to see it, relishing the vision of the deity, and chanting for the deity's pleasure. This is all something that, we do as a group. We're not doing it as how old you are, how smart you are. It doesn't have anything to do with it. It just means being there and raising your voice and let everything go from there naturally. So this is why Bhakti Yoga, centered on the chanting of the holy name and all these other practical processes, is so much more important ultimately than this meditative yoga. And yet, the lessons to be learned from the meditative yoga carry over into the bhakti. At every purport, Prabhupada talks about that. What does it mean that Lord Chaitanya went out? He said, in every village of the earth. He didn't just say India. Priti Viti Achiyati Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Hoy Moranam. This famous statement from the Chaitanya Bhagavad. Priti Viti means in every town and village on this earth. That's the meaning of Priti Viti. My name will be chanted, and my name means Hare Krishna. So that in itself is a statement of the widest possible welcoming for all living beings to join in the Sankirtan movement, and that enables one to attain everything mentioned here as the benefits of yoga, and much more actually, and much more. Not just seeing the Lord in everybody, but seeing everybody as a servant of the Lord. God brother and God sister. What a glorious vision. And this alone can break down the barriers that are causing this world to blow up. So many horrible wars going on, all on the basis of this false identity. And in the next verse it's even more emphasized. One should not only see the Lord in everyone, but one should empathize with every living being in their pain and in their happiness. The devotee is famously Paraduka Duki. You know what that means. What does the Paraduka Duki mean?
Yeah, they experience like suffering, or when they see other people happy, then they're happy. If they see other people suffering, they're suffering.
I mean, Paraduka Duki literally means I feel your pain. That phrase has been ruined by a certain precedent we had. But that's the basic point, which is the essence of empathy. But the other side works also. It's parasuka sukhi. But the demons are just the opposite. There's even a word for it. That Schadenfreude, paraduka sukhi. The demons feel happy at others' pain. This came out of World War II. The crazy Nazis were there. You can't even mention it. It's so horrible. Paraduka sukhi, happy at your pain. Can you imagine being in a mentality like that? It's so unnatural. But our books are full of it. All these demons. Remember Kamsa? Kamsa had a little tinge of remorse, only because he wasn't able to kill what he thought was the 8th child of Devaki. He literally killed the children. He was, and the lesson is he was egged on by his demonic advisors. He was ready to give them the Vasudeva and Devaki because it was the 8th son, And then the advisor said, no, any son could be Vishnu, So every little child she gives birth, he dashes the child. Now it turns out he was killing his own sons from a previous life. There's a whole understanding of it. But, that's pretty bad. What to speak of Putana? In my book, she's the worst. Her whole, you know what her whole business was? Her whole lifestyle? Killing babies, drinking the blood. I mean, that's pretty bad. That's as bad as it gets. And yet, this is one of the amazing things about Krishna. That, yes, he killed her. I mean, she tried to kill Krishna by suckling him with a poisoned breast. And so, he's a little child, looked helpless. Although he had a certain glow about him, she was a little worried. So he sucks out her life. And then he purifies her completely to the degree that he accepts the part where she's suckling him as a nurse, gives her that position in the spiritual world. It's not that she merged into, a lot of them they get liberation. Forget that. She got a place in Goloka Vrindavan. And what Uddhava says, he says, where am I going to go to look to find someone more merciful than that? I mean, you may be kind to somebody who's suffering and help them, but if somebody is trying to poison you and kill you, it's pretty hard to forgive them right away. You know what I mean? Anyway, so he says, who can be more merciful? Who can be more compassionate than Krishna? The world is filled with people. Even in Krishna's age, Krishna's time, these monsters are all trying to kill him. Big snakes and huge donkeys, bulls as big as the clouds. Even Indra, went off the reservation and tried to annihilate the whole community. And Krishna had to counter them. So devotees, by their being Krishna conscious, they learn to tolerate without becoming inimical, because this envy and hate is like a disease. It's like an infectious disease. The normal way it works. If a certain group of people, some religious group or whatever it be, nationality, invaded your country 500 years ago. This happened in the early 90s when you had the Bosnia thing and the Serbian wars and all those. Remember that? Yugoslavia. So the Muslims invaded back in, when they were ascended in, I don't know what years it was, 1500, 1600. So now we're ascended, and we're going to torment them. And for years they were, torturing. So this goes on. This is material consciousness. The modes of nature, the mode of passion, is full of pride, sense of offense, bearing a grudge, passing that carefully on to your children to hold the grudge and so forth. This is the world we live in. What can counter that? There can't be some artificial treaty or this or that or some mutually assured destruction or détente. That's just postponing the inevitable. It has to be a change of heart. And it starts really right here with these verses, where you see Krishna in everyone and you see everyone as a devotee of Krishna. And you are sympathetic and empathetic and feel people's pain and try to do something about it by giving the only remedy, which is Krishna consciousness. That's the only solution to the world's problems. And that's why Prabhupada came to America. That's why the books were spoken. Why did Krishna speak the Bhagavad Gita? Precisely because he saw that the world had gotten off the dharmic route. Yada yadahi dharmasa glana bhavati bharata. Dharmasa glani means discrepancies in religion. And he had to protect the devotees, wipe out the demons, reinstitute dharma for the benefit of all. Yes, the war, Kurukshetra battle, war, was a huge conflagration, but the end result that Krishna wanted to enthrone a real pious, dharmic, religious king like Yudhishthira, so that millions and millions of people would be benefited. Because the people benefit. We're so unfamiliar with that in modern age, we don't even know what it's like. To have someone ruling who actually has the primary motive of helping the people and knows the way to do it. Nowadays, it's just a scramble for which demon can climb over the other one and rip off the people as much as possible. It's right there in the books, in the 12th canon. So we happen to live in this age. It's an ocean of faults, but there's one very good quality in this age. Kalir dosha nide rajanasti eko mahadguna. This is what Kalir dosha nide means. This Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, of unlimited kinds. Yeah. But there's one very good quality. Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Paramaje. By chanting the holy name of Krishna, Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha, one can be free of all of the effects of this age and go to the spiritual world, never to return. And in the meanwhile, by that chanting and encouraging others to chant, take as many people with you. That's the idea. Okay, any questions on this verse?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
Okay, the forearm representation
Yes.
is in the heart, is that correct?
That's, yeah.
How many are there?
Unlimited. There's only one, but he's reflected in everyone's heart as an expansion. See, this is the thing. Krishna is one, but he expands in unlimited form. Not only in every heart, but every atom. This is how the Lord is all pervasive, omnipresent. And because he's omnipresent, he can be omniscient. You can't be one without the other. You have, you're in everyone's heart. Understanding that is a major surrender. To really understand that Krishna is there, he knows everything. You're thinking, all you're doing, all you're planning, there's no hiding. And so, Prabhupada says in the introduction to the book, we should not forget this. You can see how that, to really remember that with full consciousness all the time means that you have to be surrendered soul. But yes, he's present there, and it's just the size is just proportionate,
And why the 4 items, the conch shell, wheel,
That's just the way it is.
the way it is?
2 of them are actually, Prabhupada is saying, 2 of them are for the devotees, 2 of them for the demons. The club and the wheel, the chakra, does it mention? What is it?
Yeah, it's his wheel. But
Yeah, that's the weapons,
Yes.
and the club, obviously. And the lotus and the conch are for the devotees. The conch is very auspicious at the beginning of the book when they blow the conches. Transcendental conch is the herald of victory for the good guys. And so there are these 4 symbols, and the interesting thing about it is that there's also a significance to the order that he holds it in. See, if when you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll find there's a detailed description of the different Vaikuntha planets, and how the different Vaikuntha planets have a different Narayan. Narayan is another form of Vishnu, and how they order the order that they're in. There's like 24. If they're 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, that they can be in. And then each whatever the order is, they have a different name. There's Madhava over here, Madhusudan over here, there's a Govinda form, and like that. Yeah, according to the order of the 4 things.
Govinda Vishnu form?
Yeah, there's a Vishnu form named Govinda. It's not the same Govinda. There's a lot to it. And why it is? Why is this guy blue? Why does Krishna like blue so much? He's a person. All right, let's go on. Text 32. Atma pamyena sarvatra
Atmam pamyena sarvatra
samam pashyati yojana
samam pashyati yojana
sukham vayati bhadukkam
sukham vayati padukam
sayogi paramo mataha.
sayogi paramo mataha.
He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress, O Arjuna. Purport. One who is Krishna conscious is a perfect yogi. He is aware of everyone's happiness and distress by dint of his own personal experience. The cause of the distress of a living entity is forgetfulness of his relationship with God. And the cause of happiness is knowing Krishna to be the supreme enjoyer of all the activities of the human being, the proprietor of all lands and planets, and the sincerest friend of all living entities. The perfect yogi knows that the living being who is conditioned by the modes of material nature is subjected to the threefold material miseries due to forgetfulness of his relationship with Krishna. And because one in Krishna consciousness is happy, he tries to distribute the knowledge of Krishna everywhere. Since the perfect yogi tries to broadcast the importance of becoming Krishna conscious, he is the best philanthropist in the world, and he is the dearest servitor of the Lord. Nacha tasman manushyeshu kaschin me priyakuttamaha. Bhagavad Gita 1869. In other words, a devotee of the Lord always looks to the welfare of all living entities, and in this way he is factually the friend of everyone. He is the best yogi because he does not desire perfection in yoga for his personal benefit, but tries for others also. He does not envy his fellow living entities. Here is a contrast between a pure devotee of the Lord and a yogi interested only in his personal elevation. The yogi who has withdrawn to a secluded place in order to meditate perfectly may not be as perfect as a devotee who is trying his best to turn every man toward Krishna consciousness. So this verse really kind of is turning us away from the go to a secluded place and work for years and years. That's okay because it's you're elevating yourself from connection to the material world. But really, if the truth is that we are all connected. We're all connected through as spiritual beings through Krishna, and when we experience Krishna consciousness and we experience happiness, even if that happiness first is just a relief of all the tension and anxiety and fears and all the things that just happen by being in this material world, which is, I think, anyone who chants Hare Krishna seriously experiences that just from that chanting alone. We can see, well, this, anyone can benefit from this. It has nothing to do with nationality or age or anything else. And so, because Krishna is in the heart, and by contacting Krishna, one acquires transcendental qualities, divine qualities. We already have them, but they're buried. They're covered by the modes of nature. Millions of lives of abhadras and anarthas and things that are covering it. So Krishna consciousness is a cleansing process. Lord Chaitanya says his first words of the Shikshastika, which are? Thank you. A little louder. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So Darpana is like a mirror. Here's a little, as Maharaj would say, a little sideline. The etymological view. Darpana is a word for mirror. So it's polishing. Marjana means to wipe, literally. Wiping clean the mirror of the heart, the mirror of the consciousness of the mind. Right? Cheto Darpana Marjana. Now, you know what the word for vanity is in Sanskrit? Darpa. From the mirror. Doesn't one get vain? Don't they call it a vanity when you sit? Isn't it vanity? I know women have this thing, they put on the makeup. So, Cheto Darpana Marjana. Interesting fact. So, by polishing the mirror of the heart, your natural, long buried nature is revealed. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kapanoy. Lord Chaitanya tells Sanatana Goswami that all of us, every single living entity, not even just human beings, all the living entities, have within themselves the eternal perfection of Krishna Prema. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kapanoy. In this context, sadhya means something that you bring artificially from outside. Noi means not. It's not something that you bring from outside. It's something to uncover from inside. How does it become uncovered? You know the rest of the verse? Shravanadi. What does that mean? Yeah, he knows. Okay. What does it mean?
Shravanadi, by hearing chanting.
Etc. No. Shravana it means hearing, etc., including chanting, remembering. Shravanadi, Shuddha Chitte means?
Shuddha means pure, Chitta means heart.
Yeah. The heart becomes purified by hearing and chanting the holy name, basically, another thing. And then Kodaye Udoy. That Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, the love of God, which is our eternal birthright, is uncovered. Udoy means like the sun rising. Udoy means to rise, to awaken. Now, just an editorial sidelight and a little sidelight. This book was produced in 1975. Prabhupada wrote it in 73, 74. And then there was this huge book production marathon in May, June of 1975. I was part of that marathon. And one of the books I worked on was the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're working feverishly. Prabhupada said you have to produce all 17 books. It turned out to be 15 books, but that's still a lot. With artwork, indexes, proofreading, typesetting, everything, editing, which is the hardest part, in 2 months, which is unheard of. A commercial publisher will take 2 or 3 months to produce one book. And here probably wanted 15 books done in 2 months. Or else you're disqualified. It was a serious, yeah. So we're working feverishly. So naturally, the perfection couldn't be there that we would like, the polish couldn't be there. And one of the things that there was a problem with this verse, which I discovered 20 years later when I revised the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I went through word by word at leisure. It took me a year. I was sitting a block from here. And went over it. And what the translation said is, by hearing and chanting, the perfection of devotional service or pure love for Krishna is eternally with the living entity. By the process of hearing and chanting another devotional process, the living entity awakens. Because Prabhupada said that awakens. And the editor didn't dawn on him what that was, that it was the love, this is Krishna Prema. So he said the living entity awakens. The living entity may awaken, but that's not what the verse says. The love awakens. Anyway, we fixed it. It's okay now. But I don't want to hear anyone say, "Oh, you're changing the books," Yeah, we're revealing the meaning that Prabhupada gave to the books and letting it shine through properly. I'm doing this day and night, so forgive me if it comes out sometime. But you can see that this is like for 10,000 years. Nobody's going to do this. Hare Krishna. All right, so this is a very important verse. So the Sankirtan devotees, those who are on the front lines, who are preaching, who are trying to convert people, this verse is always an inspiration. Because Krishna is saying that Paramomata, the supreme yogi, is one who sees me everywhere. The other previous verses are there. Sees the super soul in everyone's heart, sees the equality of everyone as spirit souls, and is sympathetic to their difficulties. Everyone's suffering in this world. So you're feeling it. It's like there's a the principle of sympathetic vibration. I play the tambura. Everyone thinks it's a veena. No, it's not a veena. It's a simple little 4-string instrument. But that principle of sympathetic vibration, that you hear the overtones because one string is causing another string to vibrate. It's very more prominent in the sitar and the veena. Yeah. But that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to tune our consciousness so that we're vibrating along with Krishna, exactly. And Krishna is an ocean of compassion. Why does he come here? Because, as Prabhupada says in this verse, he's quoting the 529, the peace formula. It doesn't quote the Sanskrit. But he says, the second sentence of the purport. The cause of the distress, the third sentence, of a living is forgetfulness of relationship with God. And the cause of happiness is knowing, then there's 3 things, Krishna to be the supreme enjoyer of all activities of the human being, the proprietor of all lands and planets, and the sincerest friend of all living entities. Now that idea of being surit, the verse goes, Bhoktaram Yagita Pasang. So the last verse of the last chapter. Bhoktaram Yagita Pasang Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. One can attain peace if he knows these 3 things, that Krishna is the enjoyer of all your work. He should be the enjoyer of the fruit. That sounds counterintuitive. What about me? But the point is, if you give over as much of the fruit as possible to Krishna, you become truly happy. You truly become happy. Because that fruit is then enjoyed by everybody. Just like this temple. If it's maintained and we're here, it's not just for us. We're enjoying like anything. Dancing, chanting in front of Radha Giridhari and taking prasadam. Yeah. But anyone can do that. Come on in. Don't come on. We'll go to you. Hare Krishna on the street. We had our little Harinam, right? The point is that no one is ineligible. No one. No one, is at least conscious enough to be a human form. That, the animals and the plants can benefit too, but the human beings can actually become Krishna conscious. And we know from our own experience. It's a perfect verse. We know from our own experience the benefit of being Krishna conscious, how it's made us less anxious, more happy, and we taste little hints of bliss every now and then by being Krishna conscious. So we know it's there. And we have a whole line of realized souls assuring us, yes, it's real, it's true. We wouldn't lie to you. So that's the first. And Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, that Krishna is the proprietor. This is the biggest problem, is this sense of false proprietorship. Read the Ishopanishad, the first verse, second, the invocation in the first mantra. It says the source of all the problem is this false sense of proprietorship. This is mine, I'm going to use it, and what you have is also mine, I'm going to take it. Rather than the ideal, the six Goswamis, nothing is mine. I don't need any of this material stuff, and I'm giving the greatest treasure. Lord Chaitanya came to give the greatest treasure. Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Vadayati. Dana is a gift. Vadanyaya means munificent, one who gives gifts, generosity. The Mahavadanyaya is one who's giving the greatest gift. It's a gift, freely, take it. Krishna Prema Padaya, that's the greatest gift. Prema Dhan is called the treasure of Prema. And what is that? It's the holy name, the chanting, the process of Krishna consciousness. It's freely given. So we've tasted it, we've experienced it, and the more we give it out, the more we taste it. Because it's a personal process. Krishna is saying, you're actually caring for my praja, those poor ignorant souls who don't even know my name, then I'll give you, a couple of more jolts of bliss. And then if you keep doing it, you come to the platform of being happy, even with very little materially. This Mother Nidra, she's become a hero throughout the movement. For 40 years, since the mid-70s, she's been distributing books in Denver. You know her. Every old distributor knows Nidra, baby. She's a god sister. And they flew her to Mayapur, to give her like a Lifetime Achievement Award, and all this. And it's going out. I was just reading, there's this older lady, is it in England, is she? Yeah, I think she's in her 70s. And there's a nice picture of her, she goes out, she's been doing it for 20 years, now she's in her 70s. Going out, selling books on the streets of London and places like that. You can see she's determined, blissful, happy, Because you really feel that, you're helping people. They can get this knowledge we're studying here. These Gitas, my little job. I'm the guy who works in the armaments factory. It's like kind of like a war, And I remember when I was growing up, I heard, I was conscious of World War I, World War II. My father was too young for World War I and too old for World War II. He was born in 1907, to actually fight on it. But he participated on the home front. He was in the USO, which is helping veterans and things like that. But the point is, I have my role to play. I've been playing it, making the bullets, making the bombs. So I feel good. This book that you distribute, when we hear you distribute so many Maha big books, a lot of those are the Gitas, right? Probably mostly the Gitas, the softback Gitas, which I worked out for months to condense by we took out the Devanagari. You distribute these to people at these concerts and kids on the street, and then the Devanagari. I mean, it's important, but it's more important to get the book in their hands, And if it's too expensive, there'll be less books. So we condensed it that way, and in various different ways. I'm a typesetter too. I know. I'm the kind of guy who knows a lot about the little parts of producing a book. The editing, of course, proofreading, but as well as it. So that book, it came in at 720 pages, whereas this book, it comes in at more like 1,000 pages, 900. Yeah. Anyway, so that's been 2 million of those now. That's a lot for us. 2 million of those small, Gitas, because they're $150 or less for the temples to buy, and you can sell them for $5. A 750 book with the greatest treasure of knowledge there could be. So that's my little ecstasy. My little work is going out, and without the distributors, and it doesn't make any sense. But together we work as a team, and everybody benefits. So that's what this verse is about, is by comparison with oneself. In other words, that's empathy. One sees sukham and dukkam. He sees the happiness and he knows the reason for the distress. And so yogi padamomata. That echoes as Prabhupada quotes, the chatasma manushesha. At the end of the book, of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one who teaches this knowledge, he says to my devotees, there's no one more dear to me than he. I gotta confess, this is one of the reasons I've been giving this class all these years. I'm trying to, get through the back door, so to speak. But it's that's how this movement was founded. That's how it's sustained. That's how it will be sustained. It was started because Prabhupada perfectly personified this verse. He was perfectly situated, but hardly anyone else is perfectly situated. And he felt the call, his spiritual master's order, Lord Chaitanya's prediction, and in his old age he went to America and he started. And this is the perfectly echoed, the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, who was tormented by his father, but he was so strong and so protected by his powerful connection with Krishna, which he wouldn't relinquish for anything, that he didn't feel anything, but it's just, rather he felt compassion for his father, just like Jesus Christ. But then when his father was killed, and Lord Nrsingadeva is there and he's offering these prayers, 7th canto, 9th chapter, and then near the end, he gives 2 verses that personify the whole mood of this movement. He says, Naivod Vijay Padadurotte Avaitaranyas Twadvi Yagayana Mahamata Bhagna Chitta Shocetato Vimukachetasa Indriyata Maya Sukaya Badamundhato Vimudhan. So what he says there, not Udvijay, this word Udvijay he used earlier in his father. Udvijay is anxiety, disturbance, dis-ease, unease. So he says, I don't have any of that. Because I'm always conscious of you who are way beyond the Vaitarani river. This is Vaitarani river, is the barrier between the material and spiritual world. So I'm always with you and with my consciousness, so nothing can shatter that. And how do I confirm that? Anywhere I am. Twadvirya Gayana. I can sing your powerful glories. Just imagine he's sitting there before Lord Srinivas. Mahamata Magna Chitta, and then my consciousness will then be, immersed in an ocean of nectar, ocean of bliss. So how can there be any distress for me? In any situation I can do that. But Shochetata, I am lamenting. Now he says, I am lamenting. For whom? For what? Vimukha Chetasa, Indriyata Maya Sukaya. The fools and rascals who have turned their way away from you. Vimukha Chetasa literally means turning their consciousness away from your face. And for the sake of what? Indriyata Maya Sukaya. For the sake of the sense gratification. Indriyata, which is Maya Sukaya, illusory, flickering happiness. And it's bearing the great burden of struggling in this material world to achieve the little drops of sense gratification. Because as soon as you get away from this natural connection with your ocean of happiness in your heart by Krishna consciousness, then you're at the mercy of the vicissitudes of this material energy, which is, it's not built for our happiness, for sense gratification. And so it's a great struggle to get that, and it's crazy. So, udbhato vimudhan, they're bearing this great burden of trying to enjoy this. So those are the ones I'm lamenting for. Then the next verse, it's interesting because it echoes this chapter. Prayena deva manayosava mukti kama maunam chanandi vidinena paratanishta. He says there that for the most part, prayena deva, oh my Lord, these yogis and munis, munis actually comes from the word mauna, which means to be silent. So you can imagine, you're sitting alone in the forest or in a cave somewhere, no one to talk to, you're just meditating within, pretty silent. That's a muni, So maunam charanti, vijane, they wander, silently, way far away from where the centers of the population. Vijane means where there are no people. Why? Vimamuksha eko. This says, Prayena devamaniyo svavamukti kama. Very telling phrase. The desire for one's own liberation alone is a form of sense gratification. It's a form of selfishness. That's why he calls it kama. Is it? You remember that? I don't know if you remember these verses, but mukti bhukti siddhi kami. sakala ashanta, that you can never be peaceful. Certainly you can never be peaceful with your own sense gratification. You'll never have enough of it, and it's always flickering. So that's bhukti kami. That's the vast majority. But even the mukti kamis, those who want their own liberation, they can never be fully confident of the quality of that liberation, because it's unnatural. Liberation alone means the cessation of all suffering. But is that our life? It's just like if you're in the hospital with some serious disease, right? And day and night you're praying, oh, I hope I I hope they can cure me from this disease, And so you're really thinking of that. All your other plans are on hold because if you die, it's not going to help. So okay, and finally they cure your disease. It's just like getting liberation. No more disease. And is that your goal in life now? So you leave the hospital, sit down on the curb and say, oh, I'm free. That's it. Now I'm free. No, you resume your other life, right? So similarly, the mukti kamis, they're just desiring liberation because they're always, it's a sadhana based on fear. It's not based on love. It's based on fear of birth, old age, disease, and death. If I can just get free of that. That's why you find even Shankaracharya, who's the Mayavadi philosopher. He himself wasn't a Mayavadi, but he taught that. So the very first PowerPoint I ever made was of the Lakshmi Nrsimha Stotra. Amazing verses that he wrote. And I found on the internet all these pictures of various Nrsimha deities, I could show you sometime. But each verse is very dramatic, And it all ends with, please, please, save me from this terrible ocean of birth and death. And next verse, save me, like this. But, the devotee's prayer say, yes, pick me up from this ocean of birth and place me as an atom of your lotus feet. Please reinstate me in my position as a devotee. Ultimately, they're just praying for love. They're not praying for liberation. So, here, Prahlad, in the second verse says, for the most part, these transcendentalists, they're after their own liberation, and the heck with everyone else. That's why they go alone. They could leave the cities. The heck with them. Let them all rot there. I'm going to be liberated. But as for himself, he says, Naitan vihaya kripana. Kripana is a word that means wretches, these who are after Maya Sukaya. I'm not giving them up. I'm not leaving them. Because vimamuksha eko, and he reiterates, just wanting my own mukti. Alone. Eka means one. Because nanyam chodasti sharanam brahmato napashe. I do not see anyone but you who can save them. In other words, I have to give them you so that they can be saved. And then meanwhile, therefore I'll stay in these cities. This is the mood of Lord Chaitanya. This is the mood of his followers. Okay, we've kind of got over. We're going to miss our Krishna book. I'll give you one or two shlokas. I gave you the K verse, I think, but I don't have a poem to go with it yet, so I won't give you that one. But I was reading Chaitanya Bhagavad, and when the Lord Chaitanya met Nityananda, there's this incredible scene. I'll maybe read it some evening. And Nityananda was stunned in ecstasy to see Lord Chaitanya, his eternal brother. Lord Nityananda is Balaram, and Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. So they're kind of disguised, but they recognize each other. So Nityananda, which means eternally blissful, he was so stunned in ecstasy, he couldn't say a word. He's just looking, staring at Lord Chaitanya. And then, so Lord Chaitanya wanted to reveal Nityananda's glories as, great devotee. People couldn't understand. So he had one of the Ghoshas, I forget who it was, sing a verse from the Bhagavatam, 21st chapter, 10th canto, from the Gita. And then Lord Nityananda went to all this ecstasy for like an hour. No one could hold him, until Lord Chaitanya gave him a big hug and then he stopped. But then the verse was this verse. Barha pidam natavada vapukar neyokar nikadam pimprad vasak kamnika kapisham bayajayantin chamalam randran ve no adada sudiyapu diyan gopa vrinda vrindaram yamasapadana pravishad Gita kirti. And this, you may have heard this before, but it's ever fresh. With lovely peacock plume upon his head, and fragrant flower placed upon each ear, he enters Braja's wood with graceful tread, a handsome dancing actor without peer. His golden yellow raiment brightly glows. His splendid garland reaches to his knees, and from his luscious lips the nectar flows and fills his flute with charming melodies. As Krishna thus begins his blissful day with cowherd friends who sing his glory sweet, he beautifies Vrindavan far away with fine impressions of his lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm sorry?
I can't believe the class went by that quick. Like I just started. What?
That means you're advancing.
The last hour.
I can't.
I kind of
Or the last year.
We have to promote the class a little more. Try to get a few more devotees. Maybe we can start with our own devotees.
Yeah, pretty simple.
But we used to have people come. We had a lady named Padmavati here. I don't know if you ever, I don't know if you were around at that time. She was an older lady. She was, she lived nearby for years. She passed away in 2011. But she would put a notice in the reader. People would come. Yeah, make it free. A very minor cost.
Oh wow.
For libraries. We can do that. Huh?
Library also.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways. I mean, we could at least try to put like an article maybe in our own newsletter, our own little email newsletter.
That's a good idea. What do you create?
In the reader. We should do that.
That's all right. Very first idea.
Read it. Yeah. We should make up a little card, a little invitation.
Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hari.
Quick.
चलो जल्दी ले जल्दी जल्दी फटाफट जल्दी फटाफट मोटा फटाफट रस फटाफट
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. I'll tell you one thing. We had a temple when I was in Brooklyn, and we had like 50 devotees in the morning and the evening class.
Yeah.
Then if someone came by, they would, first of all, the Gaur Arti was going on.
Yeah.
That's a very important part of it. Now the Kirtan and the class. That was part of the program. Kirtan class, Kirtan. Kirtan class, Kirtan. That was the program. Now we just have class.
Gita
Kansas syndrome.
Gita
I think. Yakpari Rakshata Sudhani. Oh, there it is. I think you should. Yakpari Rakshata Sudhani Laksha. Tadapisa Sudhani Madana Laksha. Sudhani Vadana Kudhani Shari Sattva Kapavana. Yad is he who Parirakshata protects all around. Sudhani Laksha. Hundreds of thousands of Suravidyas. So Yakpari Rakshata Sudhani Laksha. Tadapi, but in spite of doing that, also Tadapi Sudhani Madana Laksha. He's also very expert at killing the Suravi. You know that?
No.
Sura is the demigod or the devotees, and he is fear.
Yeah.
He also is expert at killing, destroying the fear of the devotees. It's a great player. He is short of is he Hima, one who is fear. It's the same. And say Sudhavi Marvin destroys the Murali Bhavan, he's very expert at that. He didn't. saw the Shakti Kushula of Bhagavan. So may he bring Kushula and good fortune and happiness to you. Sata Shakti Kushula. Bhava. Bhava means your. He be a source of your happiness. Good. Sata Shakti Kushula. Bhava. Thank you. You will. Now all together. I'll say it. You don't say it. You just say it together. Yakpali Lakshata Surabi Laksha. Hadatisa Surabi Mama Laksha. Murali Kutubi. Satashati Kushama. You're going to look at straight. And then more than several other things. It says, Murali Kutubi. Get together, Tom. You think? Nobody strategy. I'll teach you this. Really hard to all these books, I can tell you. You set it up. Give it back. Shri Govinda ki jai. Shri Radha Giridhari ki jai. Jai Radha. Hey Krishna
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Asachari Chatarine Namaste Saraswate Deve Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Chaitanya Gaur Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Bol, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Lord, Hare Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Radha Giri Hare Radha Giri Hare Radhe. Radha Giri Hare Radha Giri Hare Radhe. Gopananda Jayo Mr. Pad Paramahansa Paravatikacharya.
Jai Om Shabbat Paramahansa Paramahansa Shrimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Jai Prem Shri Bhoji Krishna Chaitanya Bhagavan Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasani Gaur Vasavan Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyaman Radhakan Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Devi Ki Jai, Yamuna Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Fancy Now Book Distribution Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glory to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Shri
All glory to Shri Gaura.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Radha Radha Hine Hiranyakashipo Vakshaha Ashilatankanakalaye Ito Nishinga Parito Nishingo Yato yato yamitato nrsimha Bahi nrsingo ridhaye nrsingo Nrsimhamading sharanang prapadye Tavakara kamalavare naka Adutta Shringa Narita Hiranyakashipu Tanum Bringo Krishnavadvita Narari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tavakara kamalavare Keshavandrita Narari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jagagadisha Hare Kesavatrita Narahari Rupa Kesavatrita Narahari Rupa Jagagadisha Hare Jagagadisha Hare Jagagadisha Hare Kesavatrita Narahari Rupa Jai Nrsimhare, 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 Jai Nrsimhare. Sringa Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Bol.
Oh my God, that's a lot of curry. A lot of masala. Suresh, the birds would be very well fed.
Yeah.
The birds? Yeah. If I to a park and we would feed birds. They will chant Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
16 minutes.
So
16 rounds a day, they will chant. The birds. They could get initiated.
Yeah.
By Bird Goswami.
Yeah.
Like Mahapijan Goswami. Pigeon Avatar.
Okay. You only have one customer.
Suresh?
Yes.
That is a good customer. You need all that.
You're our number one customer.
I used to, but now no.
Whoa, look at that. You have the sour cream, potatoes,
Is it
tomato.
sour cream?
Or is it yogurt? I think it's sour cream.
Alright, we'll put a little bit. This is your work, like making this grow nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of countries.
That's probably one of the very wonderful things. Sometimes, if you've seen, there's like three garnishment in there.
Yes, that's very that's a sign to Zulu.
Almost a little bit too much. We can't even for offerings. Technically we shouldn't be using this for offering 5 hours. We should be using most of the
Football, but it's too much.
Yeah. We kind of take the magic out of the scene.
If they had them all night.
Yeah. Oh, this was. Carry Sunday fees. I want that card.
Ready? I'm ready.
Oh, disappears.
8:30.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, right after Christmas. How's the girls going?
But I have time tomorrow. I'm trying to make
He's making a lot of events.
this trip for like 6.
Evening.
Yeah.
Damodars.
So you just be friends with him.
Why is
They would stay friends with him.
Yeah.
Wednesday?
He's saving all of us.
My son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because tomorrow
San Diego Temple was actually the top 10 temple
is busy.
Really?
in America.
The top 10 temple?
Wednesday.
Pretty sure.
That's amazing.
But,
Over there.
Yeah.
That's 750.
how many?
Sure.
But it was. About that takes
Some of this
10 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes?
Yeah, maybe like half an hour. Maybe like half an hour.
30 minutes?
Yeah, just
So,
two hours.
Well, at least that's
But
6.
Ryan put in a good hour.
It could be from Max to 2 months.
Wednesday, what's that?
60.
Just take it away.
Maybe.
Yeah, and
I
Larry.
might be.
Please take it.
Oh,
There you go.
I'm gonna be, oh yeah, and I'm leaving. End of this month. Oh, the first month.
Well, Friday?
Where you going?
No, the fourth month.
I'm in the morning, only like early.
The vice kids.
And that, I think it usually
Kids. Yeah, it's like beautiful camping and nature to this river.
Okay.
And
So
you know,
then
like
maybe
kids.
we'll set it.
Because they're all like young boys, like 14 years old.
Set it.